Good morning and welcome to the FP Markets Daily Market Update, and coming to you live from sunny Sydney at the moment. Markets looking very buoyant, it has to be said. So first of the big US tech earnings numbers out overnight, after hours in the US, saw Facebook come in with better numbers. Optimism was already high before that, and the bourses over there did finish on the front foot. As you can see there, Nasdaq finishing up 1%. That sentiment has continued through to the Asia Pacific region, and we're seeing Australian, Kiwi, and the Asia bourses sort of all opening on the front foot, not quite to the same extent that we saw in the US, and will be very US dominated this week with all those big tech companies and others indeed, with their earnings numbers coming out later. So as you can see here, this is the S&P chart I've just got up, still sitting near historical highs, and we're seeing that sort of across the board. A little bit of movement in the currencies as well. Treasuries have dipped off a bit. So a nice sort of start to the week for investors. And as we were saying last week, I think this is one of those weeks where if we can get a trend established, so if we do get strong earnings numbers from across the board and across the ocean in the States, that could give us that next run up into the Christmas trading season. If we do get some disparity, then we might see a lot more volatility. And obviously, conversely, if numbers do disappoint, although Facebook have come out the traps okay, then we could see that start to top things out. I think the risk could be of mixed bags, and so almost mixed bags across industry sectors as well. And that's where we could start to see volatility creeping in to the market and some sharp moves, and therefore some decent trading opportunities for traders out there. So that's where the stocks are sitting at the moment, and we're expecting further movement during the day. I'll just skip through the currencies. Little bits of movement around. As you can see, the Aussie, this is the hourly chart, still relatively subdued, but pushing up to the top of those recent trend lines, still hanging around 75 the figure. I think there's some options interest out there as well. Interesting to note on the dailies, we did top out just below that 200-day moving average. Currently coming in where we're looking at 75.60. We're trading around 75 the figure at the moment, but yeah, in a nice bit of an uptrend, and I suppose that reflects the optimism in risk in general across the market. Similar story with the Kiwi. Obviously, plenty of reasons to buy Kiwi in the last few weeks. Rate hike from the RBNZ, decent inflation numbers, and also I suppose that optimism for the for risk as well, and Kiwis being a exporting country, that's sort of moving in line, and it's looking good on the crosses as well. Aussie Kiwi trading around 104.66, Kiwi yen up to 81, and you can see decent moves over, and these are on the longer term charts, and Euro Kiwi dipping beneath that longer term support that's been there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that, a lot of interest in the market on Euro Kiwi, and you can probably see why. Real appreciation for the Kiwi against the Euro. We'd had a couple of like key level shorts, like all the way back in April 19, sort of 162.90 there. Made the same level or just above it, 163.15, and we have broken cleanly underneath that. So maybe a little bit of a trend coming in there for Kiwi traders, and certainly being picked up in the retail market. Sterling flirting with those recent highs as well, trading around 137.71. Plenty of action coming out there. Expect to see a little bit more volatility in sterling this week as well. Whether it comes from on the cable side, whether it comes from the sterling side or from the US, not too sure yet. Probably more from the US side. Euros had some decent moves as well, hanging in relatively tight ranges, as you can see here on the dailies, but still sitting at that lows. We did come down. This is the hourlies, a decent recovery off that 115.20 level, but a breakdown last night, or the last couple of nights, through this sort of very short term support level, and we're sort of flirting with the 116 the figure level. So plenty more to come out there. ECB later this week, don't forget. Talking about what else we've got out later in the week, there is quite a bit to come for us, and traders are going to be paying a lot of attention to data and central bank action really later in the week. So the first couple of days very quiet, but we're expecting to see a lot more action later in the week. We did get a slightly worse than expected German IFO number last night. But really, it's the big data comes probably from tomorrow onwards. So here, over here in Sydney, we've got CPI numbers tomorrow morning. That could see the Aussie off to the races as well, because we've not really had too much to influence the RBA recently, and taking into account, maybe we look across the Tasman to what we got from New Zealand, CPI numbers could be a big influencer on our markets. Then we start to hit the real sort of central bank stuff Thursday, or Thursday for us here in Australia. Wednesday main trading sessions over in Europe and the US. So Bank of Canada. Always remember Bank of Canada, and I sort of try and take this into consideration, especially with the Kiwi. So we did see the Kiwi start their hiking cycle. Canadians, the Bank of Canada in particular, not normally too shy about joining in the fun and games earlier than others as well. Not expected this time, but bear in mind we have got oil on the front foot as well. So real decent appreciation in the oil over the last few months. Canada, the BOC will be taking that into consideration. So maybe we don't get the move, but we might see some more hawkish comments coming out of Canada. We've also got the BOJ on Thursday, which is another likely to be a bit of a damp squib. Not exactly seeing much action out of those guys for the last 20 odd years, but obviously we'll be paying a lot of attention to any influence they're going to bring onto their markets. And then later on Thursday, the real big one I think is the ECB. Keep a very close eye on that. Expect to see a little bit of movement in the euro on the back of that, and that's pretty much it for the week. We do move into some decent numbers as well. Treasury currency report, something to watch out for late in the market from the US, late in the market on Friday, and Thursday night we've got the advanced GDP numbers out of the US. So plenty of opportunities for moves. So back to those currency sort of fluctuations that we've seen recently. One decent mover, as we know, over 2021 indeed, has been dollar yen, and we did get that strong break to the top side. As you can see here, we did get up to sort of nearly 114 the figure. We're around, or past 114 the figure, sorry, 113.85 at the moment. A little bit of a retreat from those highs that we saw just about a week ago, but feels like it's breaking to the top side again. Certainly a lot of interest. This probably my chart of the day really. Found this sort of like short-term trend line on the hourlies, but it has got a lot of touches in it, so it gives it a lot of relevance. A load of traders out there will be watching it. Even this top side one, I'll probably bring this chart out for you. Few touches here coming across, and we've just broken to the top side of them. So a lot of traders may be looking, the bulls out there, looking to sort of get some dollars in here with stop losses down through this trend line. As I said, that's a trend line I think a lot of people will be watching very carefully over the next few days and maybe weeks. Skipping over to the CAD, as I said, big week for the loonie this week. Bank of Canada coming out, and oil's flying. So expect to see CAD on the front foot, both against the dollar and probably even more so on the crosses, while oil remains bid. And keep an eye for what the Bank of Canada does. If they do come out either with a surprise hike or more hawkish, then expect the CAD to be off to the races. So potential trades there as well. As you can see, we've sort of based around just underneath 123 the figure. We're about a big figure higher from those lows. Propensity for big moves, I think, coming up later in the week for the CAD. Over to the Swissy, whipping around in line with the Euro and the Euro Swiss. Keep an eye on that Euro Swiss. It wasn't that long ago we were hearing rumours of interest from the SMB. They don't want to see the Swiss appreciate too much against the Euro. We are breaking under those sort of Q3 almost yearly lows, are they? Yep, actually we are breaking under yearly lows underneath 107, and that sort of pretty weak trend line, to be honest, but keep an eye on that. That could be some interest in that. And then, as you can see, Swiss yen, another cracking trade, and it indeed has most of the yen crosses. Just skipping over across to my sort of mixed bag here. Gold, obviously, a very big product for most of our clients. We're flirting again with the top side in gold. It is still in that bigger range. This is on the hourly charts, as you can see it here, sort of fitting into that bigger range with the dailies as well. I've still got support. I think the real key line on downside is just underneath 1700. Top side, I've got resistance coming in around about 1840 now. So potential for some more moves there. And there's that oil move. It is continuing to grind higher. We capped out, let's have a little look there, high at 85.41. We're just under $85 a barrel. Keep an eye on that oil, as I said, certainly if you're trading the CAD, that could be a bit of an influencer. And then just skipping over to Treasuries. Treasuries just did dip off about, like, this is the benchmark US 10-year, but still flirting with those highs that we've seen recently. I think that's going to be the target, the yearly high, 177.60. So a little bit of work to be done there, but things can move very quickly, certainly in the next couple of months as we move towards Christmas. So I suppose in conclusion, I think this week could be very key. Keep an eye on those US earning numbers. There's big companies coming out. It's all those big tech ones, all the FANGs, a couple of others. I think ExxonMobil are involved as well. Keep an eye on that central bank action and some of the key data as well. So later in the week, most of that comes ECB, BOJ, BOC, plenty of trading opportunities coming up, I think. So good luck with your trading. If you need anything from us at FP, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thanks very much, and look forward to hearing from you soon.